The airport hummed with chaos, a symphony of rolling suitcases and hurried voices. But for Amara Johnson, the world narrowed to a single, searing moment. A snide remark from the gate agent sliced through the noise. "Ma'am, maybe you're at the wrong gate economies that way." Amara froze, her breath catching as the words landed like a slap. The agent's smirk, shared with her colleague, was a silent accusation, one she'd felt too many times before. A black woman, assumed out of place in first class. The terminal seemed to hold its breath, passengers glancing over, sensing the spark of something about to ignite. But Amara wasn't just any traveler. She was a U.S. senator, and in her pocket was a truth that would turn this moment upside down. She squared her shoulders, her tailored blazer a quiet armor, and met the agent's gaze. "I'm exactly where I belong," she said, her voice steady but edged with fire. The agent scoffed, rolling her eyes, and muttered something under her breath to her coworker, who stifled a laugh. The air grew thick, the crowd's murmurs fading as they sensed the brewing storm. Amara's heart pounded, not with fear, but with the weight of every time she'd been dismissed, underestimated, or erased because of her skin. She reached into her purse, her movements deliberate, and pulled out her Senate ID. The gold seal glinted under the fluorescent lights as she held it up, her eyes never leaving the agent's face. "I'm Senator Amara Johnson," she said, her voice now a blade, cutting through the smugness. "And I'd like to know why you assumed I don't belong here." The gate area fell silent. The agent's smirk vanished, her face paling as she fumbled for words. Her colleague's laugh died in his throat, replaced by a nervous cough. Passengers shifted, some pulling out phones, others whispering, the weight of the moment sinking in. Amara stood taller, her presence commanding, her ID a quiet but undeniable rebuke to their prejudice. The agent stammered, "Two didn't mean them, Senator. I'm sorry, it was a mistake." But Amara wasn't done. She stepped closer, her voice low but resonant, carrying the strength of years fighting battles like this. "It's not a mistake when it's a pattern. You saw my skin and decided I didn't belong. That's not an accident, it's a choice." The crowd was riveted now, a few nodding, others looking away, confronted by their own silence. A young black girl, no older than 10, watched wide-eyed from a nearby seat, clutching her mother's hand. Amara caught her gaze and softened for a moment, seeing herself in that girl, seeing every black child who'd ever been made to feel less than. She turned back to the agent. "Your job is to serve, not to judge. Do better." The words hung heavy, a challenge not just to the agent, but to everyone watching. The colleague stepped forward, attempting to defuse the situation. "Senator, we'll get you boarded right away. Please, let us make this right." Amara didn't move. "This isn't about boarding," she said. "This is about respect. For me, for her," she nodded toward the young girl, "for everyone who's ever been made to feel small because of who they are." Her voice trembled slightly, not with weakness, but with the raw emotion of a truth too long suppressed. The agent's eyes dropped to the floor, shame creeping into her posture. The colleague busied himself with the computer, avoiding Amara's gaze. The crowd began to murmur again, some clapping softly, others whispering about the senator who'd just turned a moment of bias into a lesson. The young girl's mother leaned down, whispering something to her daughter, who smiled shyly at Amara. As Amara handed over her boarding pass, she felt the weight of the encounter settle into her bones. She'd won this round, but the fight was far from over. She thought of the girl, of the countless others who'd faced the same slights, the same assumptions. This wasn't just her battle, it was theirs too. She boarded the plane, her Senate ID back in her purse, but its power lingered in the air. The agents would remember this day. The passengers would tell the story. And that young girl, watching from the sidelines, would carry the image of a black woman standing tall, unyielding, and undeniably powerful. As the plane took off, Amara looked out the window, the city shrinking below. She wasn't just a senator. She was a symbol, a reminder that dignity could be demanded, that respect could be reclaimed. The fight against prejudice was relentless, but so was she. And in that moment, High above the world, she knew she'd sparked something, a ripple of change, small but fierce, that would echo far beyond the gate. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.